Wisconsin at Michigan, over under in this game set at 42.5. Michigan big favored in this one by 16.5. Michigan coming off their bye week. Bryce Underwood, Justice Haynes, Jordan Marshall looked good last week. Donovan McCauley had some plays that he almost made, and so that receiving core looks like it does have hope at times, but Channing Goodwin needs to hold on to the ball a little bit more, but huge step for the offensive line, big step for the defensive line last game as well. If you're Michigan, you feel a little bit more confident going out of the bye week. You're feeling especially confident going up against Wisconsin, who just got blown out by Maryland a couple weeks ago at home. Luke Fickell still there. Zach, what are your thoughts on this game?
I mean, I think this is an immense advantage for Michigan, right? Like it's at Michigan. Michigan is really starting to assert themselves on both sides of the line. And I know we have our concerns in pass blocking for the offensive line. And Giovanni El Haddad is out, or might be out for this game. Is he out, or is he questionable?
I don't think I've seen. I'll double check really fast, but I've not seen them say anything.
But even without him, their run blocking has been very good. And especially with Underwood as a run threat, I just don't know how Wisconsin stops their running attack. So I think it'll be slow. I think it'll be methodical. I think they're going to bludgeon Wisconsin to a pulp because I just don't think Wisconsin's motivated. I just, nothing out of Wisconsin has made me have any hope that they are going to be able to compete. And I hate to say that. I wouldn't be surprised to see Wisconsin get a junk score at the end because that's what they've been doing, both against Alabama and against Maryland. But I think the final score I have is not going to be indicative of how this game plays out, which is I think just Michigan they just take the air out of the ball and they just kind of squeeze the life out of Wisconsin over the course of this game.
Boy, plug your ears, Wisconsin fans. Man, Zach is not loving his Wisconsin Badgers tonight. No, I do not fault you for it. I'm just giving you a hard time. I do think that Wisconsin has the best run defense statistically in the Big Ten so far this season. They're allowing only 2.11 yards per carry. They're only allowing 50 yards per game. They haven't faced any FCS opponents, so it's not like they're just getting that from a bunch of FCS teams or anything. I mean, against, I believe it was Alabama, they only allowed 72 yards on the ground. So, I mean, a lot of that was because the Alabama threw a lot through the air, but I do think that this is a very interesting matchup. I'm not going to pick the upset. I'm going to pick Michigan to win this game, but you have the possibility of Billy Edwards coming back. Is Danny O'Neal still the starter? Is Hunter, what's his name, Zimmerman, I think? I'll double check here in just a second, but is he going to play? And all three of those quarterbacks are kind of all different. Billy Edwards, more of the kind of balanced, he can run, he can throw type of guy. Danny O'Neal, pretty mobile. He's shown not to have a great arm, but at least he's better than Braden Locke in that sense, that he has more mobility. And then Hunter, he has shown himself to have a pretty good arm. We saw him in that Maryland game. He might have the best arm out of all three of them. And so what does Luke Fickell decide to do in this game? And does that impact Michigan's defense and what they try to go out and do? Does Wisconsin use multiple quarterbacks in this game? And will that be confusing for this Michigan team? This Wisconsin offensive line has not been great. However, coming off of a bye week, are they going to adjust some things, put some things together to make it better? Jeff Grimes is an experienced offensive coordinator, so I understand what you're saying, Zach. Like, there's not a whole lot of confidence right now for Wisconsin, but I do think there are other talking points in this game to the fact that this could be more of a test for Michigan than maybe we realize, because they might just have to go to the air more than they've gone to the run if Wisconsin is indeed good at stopping the run.
Yeah. Ryan Willie does say don't expect Edwards Jr. to play, which is my sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who's going to play. That's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Neither does Michigan.
Yeah. I don't disagree. Like, I think that this is a test. And in some ways, it's going to be a test of whether Michigan can actually do what they want to do, right? Mm-hmm. Which Michigan's not going to change who they are, especially with Sherrone Moore coming back on the sidelines. They want to smash. They want to smash the rock. And I would not be surprised. So like I hear what you're saying. Here's what I think might happen is I think the first quarter and a half, it's almost scoreless. But Michigan's getting 2-3 yard chunks, then it turns into 4 yard chunks. I just think they're gonna wear Wisconsin out at some point. Because
Yeah, maybe.
well, you say
I'm wondering
maybe.
if this is the game where they unleash Bryce Underwood downfield a little bit more. He's had a little bit of trouble, not a ton. Michigan fans, I'm not trying to say anything bad about Bryce Underwood here, but if there's an area in his game currently where I think he can elevate as a passer, it's passing the ball downfield, and Wisconsin has been very susceptible to that so far this year. While I agree they do want to smash and they do want to get to the run game, I also think that they recognize the potential here for some play action pass and possibly getting the ball down the field more to Donovan McCauley, Channing Goodwin, somebody like that, right?
Oh yeah. Well, and I think so. Here's again why is running the rock so valuable to open up the play action pass game. So I think what you could see is that it's very low scoring. You get a couple of play action passes, and that opens up the run game.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. I'm picking Michigan to win this game. Like I said, I'm just curious how it's going to play out. I'm not really thinking Wisconsin's going to win. I mean, there's obviously a chance it could happen here, but it's at Michigan. Wisconsin just lost to Maryland. Maybe Maryland is a much better team than we realize, and that loss won't look as bad. But I do think Michigan's going to win this game. It could come down to like a 10-point game. This could also end up being like a 30-point game. It just kind of depends on what Michigan does and if it works for them. If Michigan just decides to smash the rock the entire time and Wisconsin's defense bows up, you could look at a 14-point win in this one. If Michigan decides to throw the ball down the field, open up the play action, you're looking at a 20, 30-point win in this one. So overall, I have the game here going 31-13. Michigan wins. That tells you kind of the way I think this game is going to go. I think they're going to open up for Bryce Underwood a little bit more. They're going to lock him downfield, and you're going to see a lot of hype for Bryce Underwood after this week about how good of a downfield passer, not like one of the best in the nation, but that he's improved in that area, and people will start to recognize that.
Yeah. I have a similar score. I actually shifted it by a point, 27-13. I do think they will have to settle for field goals a couple times in this game. But my game flow, the way I see the game flowing is I think it's 27-6. And then late in the fourth quarter, there's some sort of score. Maybe Jaden Ballard, who's been kind of their deep threat, gets a late score to make it look more respectable, backdoor cover. But I don't think Wisconsin, I'll be honest, I don't think Wisconsin has much of a shot in this game.
Okay. Well, we will see what happens. I have a feeling like Wisconsin is going to win a game at some point this season. But at the same time, I also thought they were going to go 6-6. So I might just have too much hope for Wisconsin. We'll see what happens.